This is a Dude Studios production. And hey, I'm the dude.
Hey bartender, pass me a drink. A reason that I'm here is I need time to think.
Welcome back to Hey Bartender Podcast. I am your bartender for the evening. You can call me Anthony or you can call me the dude. That's fine with me. How is everybody doing? This is a Wednesday quick shot episode. I know I haven't done one of these in quite a while, but sometimes I just don't have anything to say. You ever work behind the bar like that and people say, hey, why are you so quiet lately? And you just realize I got nothing to say right now and don't want to fill your air with a whole bunch of bullshit. That's just the way I've been feeling lately. Don't worry, all you people out there, I am just fine. It's just, feeling just kind of laid back, mellow, and, instead of sitting back and trying to fill you guys with crap content, I'd actually take a little bit of time, take a little bit of rest, sit back and actually think about what I want to talk to you guys about. Because you guys are nice enough to listen to my podcast, and I owe you at least that much. Bring you a nice, good quality show. Today I'm going to be making fun of some people that do karaoke, but until then, we got to start off with the drink special as usual. Now, everybody always, whenever they do karaoke, they feel like they got to get a couple drinks in them first before they get up on stage and belt out their favorite song. Now, some people refer to that as getting some liquid courage in them. And liquid courage can come in all shapes, forms, and sizes. You know what it's like. Before you're about to do something embarrassing, before you're about to do something that you never do before, or something that you're very nervous about, need a little bit of liquid courage. So, I jumped on the internet and found on food.com a drink called Courage Cocktail. This one was submitted by Boomette. I guess she puts things on food.com quite a bit. It's got 2 5-star ratings, so 2 people are really happy with the drink. And the stuff that you need for it go as follows. You need 1.5 ounces of amaretto, 1.5 ounces of Southern Comfort, 1.5 ounces of coconut rum, 1.5 ounces of blue curacao, 2 ounces of orange juice, 2 ounces of cranberry juice, and 2 ounces of pineapple juice. Now, the directions go as follows. Pour the amaretto, Southern Comfort, Malibu rum, and blue curacao into a cocktail shaker, 3/4 filled with ice cubes. Shake the shit out of it. I'm never letting that go, Randy Lynn. You shake the shit out of it, and then strain it into a highball glass, add the juices, and serve. So that's how you make a Courage cocktail. If you have any drinks out there that you would like to be talked about on Hey Bartender Podcast, drop me an email, dude@heybartenderpodcast.com, or DM me on any of the social media services, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of them are at heybartenderpodcast.com. No, just Hey Bartender Podcast. No .com there. It's pretty easy to find me. So anyway, this last weekend I went tooling around. I was bored to tears just sitting around at home, so I decided I've watched enough Doctor Who for now. I'm going to go out, ride my motorcycle, just see where the night takes me. And I ended up reaching this bar that didn't look too busy. I wasn't in the mood for a giant crowd. And I wandered in and saw immediately there were people on the stage singing karaoke. I feel like I'm talking like a narrator or something like that. Anybody else getting that feeling? Anyway, these people were on stage singing karaoke. I didn't notice what song it was at first, but immediately as I was wandering into the bar, I almost wanted to wander out of the bar because, let's face it, everybody, some karaoke nights can be completely fun, and some of them can be completely drastic. I mean, god-awful, horrible, and the bad performances outweigh the good performances. And, karaoke is just, it makes people feel good, builds their self-esteem every once in a while because they get up there and feel like a rock star for a few minutes. Let's give them that. Now, a long time with this podcast, I've talked about karaoke here and there, and I've told you guys my stories about how I used to sing Santana's Smooth, and that became my way of making myself known, making my mark in the bar so that people would recognize me or want to come visit me. I'm not going to tell that story again. I'm over it. But doing karaoke for me actually went back a lot farther. I used to go to this karaoke, I don't know what you call it. It's like they had a whole bunch of rooms with a couch in it. And then you, when you found a song in the catalog, you typed in the number, and then the person that was running the place would put the laser disc in, and then you would sing that song. You bring in you and 6 or 7 of your friends. And that was pretty fun. I had good friends that I went with, but it was pretty much just left to us by ourselves in that room. That's what made it fun, because you automatically had friends, you automatically had fans, people that would laugh, would cheer you on, all that sort of thing. But since we were 18, 19 years old, about 18, 19, there was really, there was no alcohol involved, because we were too young to drink, and none of us looked old enough in order to buy beer at a store, or really wanted to go through the whole thing of standing out in front of a grocery store saying, "Hey, can you buy me some beer? Hey, can you buy me some beer?" No, that we just weren't into that. And for the next few years, I had wandered around like Portland and Seattle and saw that there were other karaoke places just like it. In fact, I lived above one for a little while, for about a year. And it was funny because late at night, I would get back from work, and I would be hearing somebody belting out "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins. And, there were a couple times where I completely forgot that karaoke place was there. And I'm walking into the hotel, or walking into my apartment building late at night thinking, who the hell's playing Phil Collins at this hour? And then stop for a second and go, oh, okay. It's saying somebody singing it while laughing a little bit and slightly off key. It's the karaoke place. Okay, never mind. But then I became a bartender. Now, when I became a bartender, I knew that some bars had karaoke inside them. And after my first job as a bartender, I started working in a bar that had karaoke. I had never seen it before, and for the first couple months, truthfully, I didn't see it then, because they weren't bringing in a lot of customers with karaoke, and nor were they really advertising it all that much. But over a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, they did change their format a little bit and ended up doing karaoke only on, I think it was 2 nights a week, and then just dancing on the other nights. In fact, when they changed it to just dancing on the other nights, it upset the karaoke DJ, because all she had to do was just sit there and spin CDs. Yes, I said spin CDs. It goes back that far. Keep up with me, people. It was 1999. So let's talk about some of the songs that get sung at karaoke night a little bit too often. Now, this is just going by my experience. You might experience different things at your bar, but songs that I noticed that got done on a severely regular basis between 1999 and 2000 were, it was just overly common. And when I was sitting at that bar this weekend, I noticed that a lot of those songs still get done. And I'm like, maybe it's a generational gap or something like that, but can we think of some other songs? But no. It's almost traditional in American karaoke, at least, that these karaoke songs get done guaranteed in a night. I'm going to start here with the group songs. Okay, now groups are people 3 or more. Let's just establish that number right now. So a group of people is not 2. And so when I see a group of females walk into the bar and they're happy, they're having a good time, girls' night out, woo! And I can guarantee that all of them, at one point or another, are going to go up and sing karaoke. They're going to say, let's all get together, let's go over and sing. And the 2 songs that I always heard women sing together is either "I Will Survive" or "I Love Rock and Roll." And sure enough, while I was hanging out at that bar, there was a group of women, and they all got up and sang "I Love Rock and Roll." And I've no No problem with that song. No, I have no problem with Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. They are rock and roll icons as far as I'm concerned. But it gets sang almost every karaoke weekend, especially if you see a group of girls. And it's always done by a group of girls. I don't think I've ever seen it done by one girl. And it was, there's comes a point where you sit back and you say, dear God, change it up. Okay, ladies, here's a few suggestions for you. If you're feeling in an overly bubbly mood, try Hey Mickey. Why not? And maybe do some cheerleader moves while you're at it. Not saying you should, but you might have some fun doing it. Or maybe try something by the Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian or something. I don't know. Just a couple suggestions. I'm just begging for people to change it up a little bit. But it's just funny because I'm not knocking it because it's fun to see a bunch of girls go up on stage. It really doesn't matter what song it is. To see them go up on stage and have a good time, dance with each other, it's a good feeling. And I'm, back off people. I'm not saying it in a sexual manner. It's just a good feeling to see people have fun, isn't it? Now, when it comes to guy group songs, I've never actually seen this happen all too much. There's a group of guys that used to come into the bar every now and then, and they would sing, I don't know the name of the song, play me that mountain music like my grandma and grandpa used to play, whatever. I don't know. Or something, some song where it promotes America or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the songs, but those guys would always come in and sing that song. Now that probably doesn't happen in every karaoke bar, but I lived in a town where it was not common at all to see a group of guys get up and sing something by NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys or even New Kids on the Block for you Gen Xers. But guaranteed that at least half of the guys on stage, at least the guys that weren't holding a microphone, no, I think even a couple times the guys would bring their beers up with them. It's like they have to hold something in their hand other than the microphone while sharing the microphone with another guy. All the guys had to have a beer in their hand, even though sometimes the songs didn't give them a break enough in order to take a swig and while they were drinking. It was weird. You just all of a sudden you look up on the stage, there's 4 or 5 guys on stage singing something at all. And they have to have their beer in their hand. It was weird. But there's nothing wrong with singing in groups. I mean, sometimes you need to drag somebody up there to sing with you. I've was asked a number of times, and I usually said no for people that would come up to me and say, hey, will you come up and sing the song with me? Sorry, I got to work the bar. I'm sorry about that. And but they would end up finding somebody else, and they'd go up on stage together, sing something. And the co-ed groups. Now, it's almost guaranteed that a co-ed group goes up there, you will hear Summer Nights from Grease. There was even one time where I was laughing my ass off because the males and the females were trying to act it out as best as they possibly could. All the guys on one side, all the girls on the other, and each one of them, each one of them had watched Grease dozens of times so that they knew where they should be standing, what motions to do, like that part in the movie where one of the guys flicks the comb in the other guy's face. And they were even doing all the motions. And I found that to be hilarious. But Summer Nights is overplayed. And there's not many other songs that I can think of right now where you can get a whole group of people to get up and sing karaoke. But once again, Summer Nights, yeah, that's way overplayed. And, you see a group of, say 3 couples or more. And yeah, Summer Nights is getting played that night. But I've actually heard there's a dirty version of it out there. I have to look that up sometimes. I've heard the lyrics are hilarious. Now, you'd think Summer Nights was a couple's song, but I rarely ever saw 2 people sing Summer Nights. Actually, I can think of one time. I was at somebody else's bar one night, and they had karaoke. But the thing that stood out about karaoke in that bar is one little dude. This guy, he had to have been 5 foot tall, but he probably in his mid 30s, early 40s. And he brought his own props. You know, he knew the karaoke DJ would be there, but he would bring his own props. He had inflatable guitar, inflatable saxophone. He brought a wig one time, and he would run around the bar acting like he's a rock star, doing that all the time. And I think I actually don't know why he got up and sang Summer Nights with that woman, but it was just a goofy guy having the time of his life, not giving a shit what anybody thought. You had to admire him for that. But the couples songs that always had to come up every once in a while, because you have this young couple, and it was always a young couple. It was very rarely an older couple that they consider themselves both great singers, and usually they were, and they would do every duet you could think of in any kind of music catalog, whether it was country, whether it was a rock and roll, whatever. And this was, but this was still back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so majority of the time when I saw people get on stage and sing, man and a woman get on stage and sing together, it was usually a Fleetwood Mac song. The woman would sing the Stevie Nicks part, and the man would sing the Lindsey Buckingham part. I don't even remember what Fleetwood Mac song it was right now. I just tried to pause the podcast and look it up on iTunes, but that's going to take too long if I do that. But the Fleetwood Mac songs would come up quite consistently. And yes, I will admit, a few years later, after the song got released, I did do Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock with one or two girls, just because they loved the song. And I thought that would be a slick way to get to know one of them. The other one I was already dating. And my friend, she was like, you two got to do Picture. And we're like, okay, yeah, why not? And, just any love song duets, that always seemed to come up quite a bit. There was one time where I actually witnessed it, in my bar. I've seen it in other bars, and Ashley, the Ginger, and I were talking about it when she was on the podcast. Paradise by the Dashboard Light, by Meatloaf. Now, watching people do that song, it was almost the same way every time I witnessed it. When I witnessed it first time, it was in my bar, and I noticed right away that the guy wasn't as into it. He was still into it, but he wasn't as into it as the girl. The girl was always belting it out and just giving it her all. It was almost hilarious. And I'm wondering how this guy is able to, stand on the stage sometimes without getting hit, or because the arm movements were wild, or how, he's just, once in a while he'd look up a little flabbergasted, like, oh my God, she's actually belting this out. I've never heard this girl sing like this before. And it was usually pretty enjoyable. But Paradise by the Dashboard Light by far is probably the most entertaining. The love songs, when two people get up and sing together, maybe a little, like they're showing off a little bit, and it's like, yes, we're a couple, we're in love. Maybe I'm just a little angry about that because I've been single for a while. So, well, I didn't mean to advertise it, but I said it anyway. I'm not cutting it out. Now, we move on to the solo artists of the night. The solo artists, the people that show up for karaoke night, specifically for karaoke night. Nah, let's not move on to them yet. But everyone, the soloists, they get up on stage, they're brave enough. They have the guts. They have the integrity. To get up on stage by themselves with nothing but between them and an audience except a microphone. Now, the reasoning behind the person getting up on that stage can all be different. Sure, there are people that get up on stage just because they want to sing. I need to sing. I must express myself through the art of singing. And usually those people aren't that great. And but their friends cheer them on, and it can make songs seem like they last forever. One woman that I remember very, very vividly, unfortunately, she was a Pat Benatar fan, and she decided to get up and sing Love is a Battlefield. Oh, dear God. And I remember looking up at the karaoke DJ, and she was sitting there going with eyes wide going, oh, dear God. But she, you had to admire the woman. She got up there to belt something out. I'm pretty sure she was trying to impress a guy that was already singing karaoke that night. But she got up there, and the karaoke DJ started playing tricks on people that were horrible, horrible, horrible singers. And, gently lower the volume on the microphone so we didn't have to hear them as much. It's a cruel joke. I know. I can tell. I'm first one to admit that right now. But believe me, it saves a lot of headache until the customer starts to notice. But the customer doesn't realize because they're usually 3 sheets to the wind. At least that woman was. And not realizing that she doesn't sound exactly like Pat Benatar. Now, that's another reason for people to get up and sing karaoke at the bar, is because they sit back and think, I sound just like the artist. Now, I'll tell you right now, when I sang Smooth, I know I sounded nothing like Rob Thomas. I will put my hand on the Bible and truthfully tell Santana, Rob Thomas, I sounded nothing like them. But for some people, reason enjoyed it. Okay, like I said, past that. But there was this other woman that enjoyed Patsy Cline, and she would go up there and sing every once in a while. She wasn't a well-liked customer because she worked in the service industry and didn't tip. But she would go up and sit there and say, well, I sound exactly like Patsy Cline. No, you don't. And as a bartender, I wanted to be nice and, not tell her that she sounds like a fart coming out of a southbound bear after eating 20 pounds of Taco Bell. She didn't sound like Patsy Cline. Trust me. Am I being anal retentive about it? No. If I didn't have a Nokia 5100 series back then and could have recorded some of this stuff, I would be playing that on this podcast. But this was 21, 22 years ago. So, yeah. Now, we go to the solo artists that want to try to prove something to somebody they're with. Sing a love ballad to their significant other, or sing a song to somebody that they hate. Now, there were times where there was this one guy, he would get up and sing for his girlfriend's Wicked Games by Chris Isaak. Now, sorry, I apologize to Chris Isaak, but like he's ever going to hear this podcast, I never liked that song. And that part where it goes to the falsetto, yeah, I never liked that song. That makes me biased. But then every once in a while you get the girl that wants to sing something to their boyfriend. Now, I can't think of any examples right now where, she's wants to sing a powerful ballad to their boyfriend or something like that. But I know it happened. But when people get up there for a reason, and the reason is usually negative, it's hilarious. Maybe it's just the evil side of me that actually enjoys watching people do things like this. But let's see. There was that guy who sang "She Fucking Hates Me" by Puddle of Mudd, and that caused a lot of anger issues in the bar that night, because I guess they got in a fight while they were sitting there with friends. And it was a fight that, where she took her friends and trotted off to the bathroom in full steam. and where everybody knows something's wrong. And as soon as she came out, it was his turn to sing, and all of a sudden I heard those chords come up, and I was like, oh God, now's not the time, but I can't look away. And, watch him sing She Fucking Hates Me. And yeah, sure enough, she got up and left. And I didn't see them for quite some time. I think they eventually did get back together. Whether it was stable or not, I don't know. But it was some time before I saw them in the bar together again. But there was one time where I actually watched a relationship crash and burn. It was over. There was no coming back. They just had their final fight. It was all over. And she actually was one of my waitresses. And luckily she had a slow night on the tables, but she was always good about taking care of the tables whenever her husband decided to come in and they'd start picking a fight with each other. But she would join in on karaoke night as soon as she was done with all of her side work, and I was by myself behind the bar. I'd let her go for the evening, and she'd stick around and sing karaoke or go play video poker for a little while. She mostly stuck around the Dixie Chicks, but they're called the Chicks now, right? Anyway, they're called the Chicks now because of all that problem that they had with being overly political. So the Dixie Chicks were the ones that were overly political. The Chicks are the ones that concentrate on the music. I think that's how it goes. But this one particular night, the relationship with her husband was over, done, kaput, never coming back. And so he wanted to stand there and fight some more. But she, as soon as she was done with her side work, she put in her ticket to sing karaoke. And then, it's my turn. And she went up and sang this song. I think she said it was Bye Bye by Joe D. Messina. And I had to look it up. That's why I'm looking at it. She told me it, and I think that was it. And that song does not have any lyrics that say, I still love you or anything like that. No, it's a breakup song. Big time. And the whole time she was on stage singing it, he was standing at the bar giving her the bird. And I thought, well, yeah, that relationship is pretty much over. And there was no time where I had to sit and talk with her about it, or she was happy it was over. And so it was probably a good thing for both of them. He might have been a little upset about it. I never heard anything from him. She was thoroughly satisfied. It was a relationship that she needed to be done with, just over. And that was her signal to him that that's it. So it worked. Next type of person I'm going to talk about are the people that refer to themselves as I refer to them as overly professional. They sing well, yes, but they travel to every karaoke bar to get their names out there, get discovered. And and it's usually people that had a good karaoke night and their friends were like, oh my God, you were so good, boost their self-esteem to the stratosphere. And they think, that's my calling. It's my turn to be a singer. I'm going to be famous. And so they travel to every karaoke bar trying to get people to discover them or, give them a record contract or something like that. Usually they end up finding out that's not that easy. So, and I have met a couple people that said, singing is what I'm supposed to do, so I'm going to move to Nashville. And I've never heard anybody say I'm going to move to LA. It's usually Nashville. And, some of them I never saw again. Some of them came back withered mess because they found out getting a record contract in Nashville, it's like, what, you're here to be a country music star? Get to the end of the line with everybody else. And it's disappointing. It's discouraging. Some people can't take it. Some people are probably still working at it, and good luck to them if they are. But this was 1999 when they come up and say, I'm going to move to Nashville and I'm going to be a famous country music singer. And I look at them and go, are you sure you want to do that? Because right now, Shania Twain has the most popular album on the market. You'd be competing with her if you want to get into the Billboard Top 100. But also, we got these new up-and-comers that aren't country named Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears that I'm not even sure can buy cigarettes yet. And they're hitting the Billboard Top 100. You're in your mid-30s. You have a child that you just told me that you're going to leave with your grandparents while you try to live out your dream, or leave with your parents while you live out your dream. Are you really, really, really sure you want to do that? And they'd go, absolutely, yes. And I said, well, then good luck to you. And I'd usually leave it at that. If they came back into the bar, I'd never say a word about it. I never said, I told you so. I never, you'd be just like if they were there at the bar the next day after they told me that and just, hey, what can I get you? All right. Finally, this happened at the bar I was at this weekend. I want to talk about mood killers. Yes, mood killers. That, you're walking to a bar, you got the lights flashing, other people are up there singing great songs. There was a guy that did Rapper's Delight perfectly. Did not skip one word, wasn't even looking at the screen. He knew every single lyric to Rapper's Delight. It was so fucking awesome. And when he came off the stage, people were screaming, cheering. But then all of a sudden, a guy comes up onto the stage, dedicates this song to somebody, and he sings this song called Don't Take the Girl by Tim McGraw. You want to talk about a mood killer? Oh my God. You go from Rapper's Delight to Don't Take the Girl. No offense to Tim McGraw. No offense to whoever wrote that song. If he wrote that song or a songwriter in Nashville wrote that song for him, no offense to them. It's a good song. But, oh my God, I can't listen to that song because part of me wants to commit suicide. It is a really fucking depressing song, at least to me. One of the times when I was bartending, this guy went up onto the karaoke stage, dedicated the song to somebody, I have no idea who it was, and sang Don't Take the Girl, and there was nobody else there. He dedicated the song to somebody that wasn't there, out loud. And I was like, what the hell? Really? But, maybe it had deeper meaning for him that none of us could even fathom. But, yeah. It maybe he was singing it to an ex, maybe he was singing it to his daughter. I don't know. But he was by himself and he dedicated Don't Take the Girl to somebody. And I was just like, somebody sings something, anything, Spice Girls, do something, because everybody in my bar is about to cry and I don't want people to cry in my bar. I want people to be happy, have fun, joke around. It's that easy. And other guys that went up and sang country music songs, there was another one that was a complete mood killer. I think it was the song You Had Me at Hello. And yeah, that was a song where, people were just like, yay. And, then you're basically begging for anything. Somebody get up and sing anything, please. If it was 2019, I would have begged somebody to sing Baby Shark or maybe even the theme song to VeggieTales. Somebody sing something. But I digress. There were a lot of people that just really just enjoyed getting up and singing, made them feel good. And you gotta let them do it. How many people out there just belted out in their cars nowadays? I remember just recently there was a coworker that I was driving behind, and he was, if I'd been sitting in the truck with him, he probably would have smacked me in the face a couple times because he had dance motions and everything, because whatever song he was singing, and I was watching him the whole time in the truck behind him. And I was like, wow, whatever song he's getting into must be a really damn good song, because he's pointing his fingers and, bobbing his head, all this stuff. It's hilarious to watch people sing while they drive their car. But I'm one of those people where if I see a car coming up next to me, or I'm about to stop at a stoplight, whatever I'm belting out, I'll stop. I get embarrassed, self-conscious. But encourage your bar customers, people, to think a little bit outside the box. Those were my favorite people just because they had the guts to change it up a little bit. And it's really easy to go up and sing some of the popular songs, the classic songs. But every once in a while, if your karaoke DJ was as good as the one I had, they have novels, volumes even, of songs that you can do. And pretty much my karaoke DJ had pretty much any song that I could ever think about at the time. And, it was just almost refreshing. One night, this girl just decided to get up and sing Limelight by Rush. And it was, that was refreshing. And she sang it actually pretty well. Every once in a while, if the bar was dead, I would sing a Harry Connick Jr. song just to change it up because it was fun. I like Harry Connick Jr. and his music, and they happen to have a few of his songs on there. And some people actually did find it a little bit refreshing that I would have the guts, instead of going up and sing your standard country music, your standard rock and roll music, I'd go up and sing some big band, because I'm a fan of the Rat Pack, the Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, all those guys, all the guys in the Rat Pack. And I'm a big fan of them and their music. And Harry Connick Jr. does that music justice. And if at the time she had it, I probably would have even done Brian Setzer Orchestra, because the big band version of Rock This Town is the shit. I love that version of it. The classic version from the 80s, still awesome, but the big band version, it rocks. But I will tell you, one guy, this is the last one I swear I'm going to say, one guy would annoy the piss out of me because he would go up and sing The End by The Doors. Got nothing against The Doors, got nothing against that the song The End. But for karaoke purposes, the guy sang, there's probably a minute and a half's worth of singing in that song, but the song is 6.5 minutes long. It's basically an instrumental. And he sat there, microphone in his lap, and, this is the end, my friend, and then just sit there during the whole organ solo and all of that stuff. Just sit there for like 4 minutes straight before he got back into a part where he could sing again. And I was like, my God, why do that? You're basically just sitting there staring at a computer screen at that point. Don't do that. Smack him on the nose. Bad customer. Anyway, that's enough of a rant for tonight. That's it for the Wednesday Quick Shot episode. Thank you so much for listening to Hey Bartender Podcast. Remember, if you want to get a hold of me, you want to be on the show, you want your music to be played on the show, or you just want to share a story or drink special through email, you can email me at dude@heybartenderpodcast.com, or you can direct message me on any of the social medias, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's all Hey Bartender Podcast. Just look up at Hey Bartender Podcast and you will find me. I'm not hard to find. And also remember, if you want to pick up some Hey Bartender Podcast merchandise, head on over to www.heybartenderpodcast.com, and you can listen to past episodes while you're there and shop around for some merchandise if you feel like it. Buy some merchandise, support a podcast. That's what I say. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, I want to wish you all lots of love, lots of sex, lots of happiness, and don't take any shit from anyone. Good night.
What do you mean it's last call? I just got here!